We had it fitted just before Christmas, so we've been decorating, just getting it finished. So it's
Can
all.
you just turn it down? I'm sweating.
Looks good. That's what we need in our living room. Right, troops, it's 7 o'clock. Happy New Year to you all. Any questions as well to all the stuff tonight, just shout out. And if I can ask you all to turn off your mics so we get less interference. Right, let's get going. Let's get rid of them. First faulty, fragile earth, which we all know in your own. Right, all my Christmas stuff, when our Ben was here, he bunged everything up in the loft. So our little mate went up as well. This was somewhat I've nicked off the internet, Arctic hairs. When they curl up, they look like snowballs. Bless. Right, from the last Zoom I do, when I finish the Zoom the day after, I always put it on my YouTube post. And this was from the last Zoom, and I mentioned hamster muck, which I had from Juanita, and sent me a reply. Must have a whole flock of hamsters to get that much muck. No, it was guinea pigs. It was guinea pigs. I was just excited because it was muck.
It's just been out.
Glad it's been useful. Very happy Christmas to you all and your wife and Rushan. I love that, Rushan the hound. Thank you for your advice and Zoom sessions throughout the year. Coming to give you a brilliant talk, November. There's a new one just come on. Can you turn your mic off, please? Of course, you it is. This is a mate, Steve, from Bradford, getting his birthday present off his missus. He was chuffed with that. Good lad. Suzanne sent me this one. This is a sea slug. Well, it's from the sea slug family. There's loads of these little chaps down below. Nature is great. I'd like a one-way ticket to anywhere that doesn't have fireworks. New Year's Eve, our hound played up hell. And the day after, because they were still going off then. Moon Pent says, "Go do it." So we've booked up to go away for next year in the middle of nowhere. And that 2 hours ago, not too far away, started setting off fireworks again. So I'll put a bit on a local Facebook group. Just giving them my message. And somebody mentioned this, Your Dog. It's a group that gives you all ins and outs holidays for basically firework friendly and all this crap. And that was me looking into it. You can see the hounds flaked out on my laptop as well. £2 a month. And basically there's loads of stuff here. So I joined up straight away. And then the first thing I put in, searching for firework free holidays. And this is what come back. Keep your dog calm and stressed out. So basically, there's nothing on firework free holidays. So I'm looking into it more. Most of them are gone, which they do every year, because they're saying people have them, obviously, until the dog dies, I suppose. So there was none. So that's all I wanted them for, really. Because you can Google dog-friendly holidays. So I cancelled my prescription with them. But we've got one in South Wales for next year. So I was going to be happy, the hound. This one I nicked off my mate John from Taunton. Look at that, just done 9 months this side. Brilliant. Love it. Talks and days out. This is from last year. I think it was 39 talks I did over the year. which ain't too bad. I've started coming in for this year. Right, this is up the greenhouse, obviously. This is me protection when there's a frostfall. If it's just under a frost, then I'll just leave it because it's got the greenhouse itself. But if it's a good frost like then we did have, then everything's covered up. But my cuttings where I took, them was doing great. But obviously them frosts, when we had the bad ones, I should have put the heating on really. On minimum, just to keep it looking after them. I'll learn. Well, I won't do that again anyway. As long as I don't lose these little chaps. I'm hoping I'm alright. My cannas, but we'll see how we go. Strawberries would have been left outside, so these must have been frozen solid. The lot, and I'm coming back greener every week, so with a bit of luck I've got away with them. Raspberry canes, them will be cut back either end of this month or early Feb. I should take the canes out and cut them back. Top dress them. This is a Colin asked me for one of my bamboos, and I said I was going to send them, take them down our gardening club, raffle them off, or put them in the tombola. Colin said I could do one of them, so I sent that to the lad, keep him happy. This is a paper run on a morning with a hound, and then after we've had breakfast, I'll then take up for a walk. Luckily it was good weather. Right, where we am on top of a hill, and it's open. It used to be a school playing fields. There's old folks home there now, but obviously the playing fields are still there. The football pitches are. And there's always been loads of seagulls, and this is Russian smelling when they have seagull droppings, and they did start licking them. God knows I've seen more of those. So I've got a trainer, like you train kids, obviously, but we'll cover that again a bit later on. This is on the same park, just down the bottom, and they're cannas, which you can see here. There's one there, one there, one there. So these have been left out in the open, and that good frost we've had, it'll be, if these come back this year, then that tells you can leave them out. And don't forget, these have had no protection, no top dressing and nothing. So we'll see what happens with them, because I'm going to plant some in the borders this year as well, and I want to get away with, if them on the park come through, then I shall leave them out over winter. I mean, I've got spares anyway if I do lose them. But luckily we got rid of them frosts that we had. We've just got away with right, something else in the post, so it's got to be cleared by Russian. And this was my worm food, which I'm going to trial. I put some in last week. This is different feed to what I put in, like me eggshells, alfalfa pellets, layers chicken pellets and whatever. So this is a different grub, but I'm going to trial these two next week. I put some of this. There's my mixture, what I've always used. I've mixed that with my compost. But next week I'm just going to lift the carpet, put a bit of this on top, a bit of that on the other side, and have a look at it a couple of days later. See what Prue's doing. Right, another wine on the go. This is me parsnip. So stirring daily, as we do. Right, my mate Paul, who I was talking to earlier on, he works at B&Q, luckily for me. like Wilco, to get rid of the stuff which they want to replace, put something else in. They bring the stuff down in price, exactly the same as Wilco. Luckily, Paul knows the bird that bums the stickers on. And she tells him, and he tells me, he's a good lad. I managed to talk Paul into getting this wench to put even a better sticker on than that. So I went up, he let me know. And he put this a lot away for me. He's a good lad. And I legged it up here and bought the lot. And these and all. This is professional Vitas Q4, one of the best fertilisers you can get. Now, I know trading sheds sell loose Vitas Q4 as we do, but ours is professional Q4 because you can get a substitute, like you get a substitute for all fertilisers. And obviously the substitute Q4 ain't as good as a professional. So to get this, the price we got it at, superb stuff. So I loaded the van up. Luckily it was fiddling down. Well, it was wet, but I got away with it, loading up. Just go back on him. I'm flogging them in our training shed and these cheaper than what we sell our Vitas Q4 loose. So whoever buys the box or the tub, that they're still getting a good deal. Right, this is Lizzie. I sent me a photo earlier on. This is her Queen's Tears. Now, she sent me one of these plants last year, and that was a state of Lizzie's. This got to be, might be 3 weeks ago by now. But it might be open by now and all. If it is Lizzie, send me another photo next week for an update. And that was what Lizzie sent me. So I sent her a photo back of mine. Obviously, you don't get that much sunlight, you get a bit of daylight and that. But he ain't throwing no spurge yet. But he has put on loads of growth. So, bit of luck this year. Chris. I'm sure that ain't his face. He's a good looking bugger, ain't he? I'll nick this off the internet and all. He put these on one of the groups last week. Them are his pot leeks. His blanch leeks on the other side. And his onions at the back. This was probably two weeks ago now by now as well. And in the front there, he's got his giant green cabbage. I should say it's green. Got a heater in the middle. Very great propane. Right, this is me Frey Bentos steak kidney pie hiding under my peas. Mrs. don't like them pies, so I can have a whole one for myself. Right, Netflix. Some good stuff on Netflix now. This is a good one if I get the chance. If you like Who Done It, which you can put on Netflix, what sort of films you like or series or whatever, and they send you stuff what they think's in your. And this one is superb. And Daniel Craig's in it as well. He's a Boston actor. That was the first one that come out, and they brought this one out, Glass Onion, and Knives Out Mystery. As you can see, 2022. But it's superb. The Glass Onion was from one of the Beatles songs, which I learned after it. But if you get the chance, I'm good. That's a hound that loves a stick, but that stick was a bit too big. And Ben had to come home early because again the train back, obviously from London, because of the strikes and that. So he'd come a week early for Christmas. And he always likes his fry up. So I did us all a fry up on the morning he come back. Well, the first morning he was back home. Lucian obviously was on the floor down here. This stuff was left overnight in the car because it was peeling down when I come home. So next day, just bung it down the shed. So luckily we've got a bit of spare room in here now because all our 1 ton bags, which is the rock dust, that's the last of the rock dust there. Behind the green bags are worm casts. So that 1 ton bag of worm casts has gone as well. And the spent mushroom compost, that's gone. So where the 3 ton bags used to be, I've got a bit of room luckily for this lot. So they were down there and them are on the table because that table's there, obviously. And, just to keep the frost off them, if we do have frost again, just cover them up. There's a couple in the shed ready for yesterday. So the Vitas Q4 flung in loose, 240 a kilo. But when I'm still looking around for contacts, because it's getting worse now, getting fertilisers because of the price on them. But I'm still looking around. But obviously, when we get the next delivery, the price is going to shoot up again. And these prices, that's why that Vitas Q4 from B&Q is a godsend. Good on you, Paul. Right, while I was down the plot, wood chip. That's where you have it delivered. When I was chairman, all the contacts I had for wood chip, goat muck, rabbit muck, spent ox, chicken muck, wherever it was dumped, this side or down here, people say, they'd look at that and say, when you're having some more wood chip delivered, meaning just go over there and scrape all that up. If you're desperate for it, you'll get a load off there. And that's what I did. All I'm going down with them and fork, only about, I get all the crap off the top. Then I want the good stuff under there. Don't forget that's breaking down because we've had moisture, the rain, obviously. The top's going to dry off with the wind and that. The stuff underneath is going to be superb. Look at that beautiful stuff. Lost. Took that home. This is my next door neighbour. That's what he gives me for Christmas for doing his getting his papers for him. I don't like to tell him I don't like whiskey. Jameson is a good one and all that. So I don't know. But that'll go in for a raffle at the AGM, the next meeting. Right, back in the greenhouse. No papers on anything, as Mr. ain't had any good frost. Well, that's stuff I bought from back down the plot, the wood chip. I'm putting that into a larger bag. I think that was a topsoil bag, if I remember rightly. So I'm getting a larger 75 litre bag and I'm bunging that in. I'm also going to add, which is there, this is some rollers, the newer. Just gives an extra kick. It's also a fistful of worm casts and some topsoil. That lot is mixed up and then watered. A couple of holes in the bottom and then tie it up with the date on, saying what it is. Because there will be quite a few bags at the back of the shed where I'm bunging them. And that's where I'm going. Right, this one is a fig I had. Just take him out of the pot. Chap needs potting on. That's something we'll be doing next week. Pick this off the internet and all. Magnolias when they open up. Beautiful. Nature is great, eh? Love it. Right, this is Christmas Eve morning. Obviously preparing the veg and the spuds for the grub on Christmas Day. Loads of scraps, which we've got there. So I've got time to do a bit of composting. Carrots, Russian loves them. In fact, I likes all veg. Bananas, fruit. In fact, very much don't like. So I've got my bucket and my extended shears. Chop everything up. When Russian is out the road, just nicking a bit of carrot. That's small enough. Still mix it. Then I've got my feed for the worms and my carbon, which is egg boxes, ripped up or whatever. As normal, everything goes into one bag, mixed up. It's mixed with all my extras. That's bunged in, ready to go in. Take my lid off, get the carpets off. Not much activity in between the carpets because it's still cold on a night. But at least that's a bit blurred, so we'll zoom in on that one there, getting the last bit of carpet up. And that's what I want to see, activity. I'm happy way going through the grub what's on top. Bung what I've just chopped up in, level it out. I've run out of my own because I've lost my contact now for my liquid osmo up in heaven. And luckily Rolly gave me some stallion juice. So I've got to add a water into that. Beautiful stuff. Well done, Rolly. Carpets back on. These carpets were drying out, so I'll give them a watering as well. Keep them nice and moist. And once the weather does start warming up, then I'll have worms in between them too as well. Coat back round him. We ain't had no frost since though, luckily. So we're going away with it. So stuff in the greenhouse still ticking over. If it is, well, yesterday was a windy day. So I only opened the greenhouse about 6 inches. But if there's no wind whatsoever during the morning, when I open this door fully, I also wedge open the 3 windows. Just about make that one out as well, meaning I've got air movement all the way through the greenhouse. If just the front door was open, although there's air getting in there, there's not enough air movement for me. You can always tell it if there ain't enough air movement. The glass is still wet, it's running from condensation. If the glass is nice and clear, then you know it's clear. So if I can get away with it, I wind wise, then I'll open all the windows, wedge them open, and the door. Air movement. Of course, I want them to dry off. My dahlia combs and everything else to dry off. Christmas morning, because there's no tables around there, no chairs around the table in the kitchen. We took them in the living room, ready for grub. So Rooson's on a mat. So this is getting dark, so this is me closing down on the night. So I should close all them vents and then shut the door. Taking Rooshan out on the morning. 5 of us for dinner. Alan come round with his girlfriend Sarah. Obviously Ben was here, and me and Pet, and the hound. Austin, New ones we tried this year. Pigs in blankets, never had them. Little did them, special offer. Might do them again, might not. That was summer we had a joint, pork joint, with our own stuffing in, but there's too much fat on it. The only good thing about that was the rind on it, the crackling. So that'll be out the window next year. You call beef a good dollop of beef, joint of beef. A bit of turkey. I got this out the loft and all. I had this off a mate a few years ago. Say a few years ago. It's got to be 12 years ago. Anybody recognise that little sign there? House of Commons. Finest reserve port. They give me this as a thank you for doing a couple of jobs for them. And I thought, right, special occasion, open it up. And it was vile. God knows how long she'd had it, this bottle herself. I think it was a daughter, works at the House of Commons. And they dish them out, obviously, willy-nilly. And they get them other one, no they drink, so I get it me. And that many bits on the bottom, when they poured it out, they got all that. And the taste was vile. I think I've only ever had port once. I like a sherry. But this, let down, if I'm honest. They pay for it. Sarah bought me this little thing as a Crimbo present. I thought, oh. And I thought, oh, brilliant. Compost King. Got all my cards in. Wouldn't do me talk. Perfect. There's our Ben. He likes his tea. He's a tea belly. There's Sarah. As is. There's Rosie. This boy unwrapping one of her prezzies from the charity shop. I think it was like 20 pence. The fish was 50p, I think. Loves them. They don't last long. Ben knows I like my sardines. He brought me them and all. I had one of them nice. And I had a night on my rum and all for a change. It's what we used to have in the Windies. Cavalier rum and Man Gay. Everywhere we used to organise a trip to go around the rum factories. Because I always gear a bottle. And they let you have a sesh before we come home. Look who was on a coach. But it just brings back memories. Coke and ice. This is the Christmas card Ben did for Dudley Council. Last year Dudley Council had kids, school kids to do the cards for them. But nobody was buying them. The drawings wore that much cop. So nobody wanted them. So they spent to do a card. And obviously that's the mayor there with hubby. I was pleased with it. Inside Council Sue Greenway. And Dudley. Right, more wine. Is this parsnip wine? I think it is. Yep. So clean my demi-john out, get it nice and clear. Obviously during Christmas, if there's a stuffing, there's a jug of gravy, or the juice to make the gravy. So I've got a lull. This must have been on a morning when there's not a lot happening or a lot of crap on the box. So I started getting the lumps. That looks like orange and lemon peel. Yeah. Need to clean that because I need it again. Just got to go through this lot. The clearer you can get it, the better it'll clear in the end. It's just getting all the dregs out basically. And there's the dregs you can see there. So if that had just gone through the normal sieve, then would have gone straight through it. And the bottom inch and a half would have been cloudy. So get out as much gump as you can. and he needs topping up. That's fair enough. You don't want to get too close to that neck, because when you just start bubbling, it might bubble over. So I'll just fill him up with water, put a top on him, bung him on, and he'll start bubbling straight away. Put a little label on, pass it wine, check for early July. I've then got a rack and add 2 crushed cambium tablets. Leave that for 2 months. There ain't many wines where you do this, but it's an old recipe, but it works. It's a good one. Parsnips, one of the strongest wines you can get. So there's my first one I did a couple of weeks back. There's my next one. And I'm going to do one more. Just have 3 going, because obviously I've got none left. I'll bottle them all. My old recipe book, on the front of there, got my little stickers. Some of my wines just come first, like sultana rum, potato gin, malt whiskey, raspberry, banana and snip, banana and raspberry there again. So spiced banana. I haven't done this one for a while. Next day where you got your beef left, you got meat left in your beef, turkey, whatever. And we got spare, you have a sarnie. Instead of having a margarine, just have gravy on it. Then the slices of beef. And they've got nice thick gravy and all. So I thought I'll have a starter, Yorkshire pudding. Just pump some gravy in, Boston. Mate got on then, obviously from Yorkshire, when I went up his place. Went to visit with him when we was in the mob. Had about bloody 3 of these before each meal. Got me hooked. Love it. Right, my tubers, which I had off Scott last year. I'm hoping they're alright. Never kept these before, obviously, so I've got to dry these out and get all the soil and that from around them. Scotch tubers up, which I got up there. These are 2 more tubers which are down the side. And these are a red palm, which I've got on there. So obviously you've got to take all the lumps of soil away and give them a good clean up. So the outside soil's dry. They don't look too bad. Like there's nothing where you can push your finger through or anything. Ain't nothing gone wrong. We've still got to dry them off. So there's one I did earlier. Now I'm just starting on him. It's just getting in there. Looking into this, putting green sulphur on is also you can use bicarbonate of soda. There's loads of uses for this. We had a sheet, I'll try and find it out, of Darren Rudge. He gives us stuff on similar to this when he does his talks. It tells you the uses for the gardener, bicarbonate of soda. There's loads of uses. Some people sprinkle that on, if they call, I don't know, sulphur. You can still get it on eBay, as you can see there. So that's a very strong, healthy growth, flowers, fruit, vines, or whatever. Right, this is Russian. Going in the wood. Right, looking for bananas for me wine. This was down our zone. This was Asda. Very often I do it there. But I thought I'll have a quick nose. I went into Summit. I think it was frozen rice, packets of rice. It's easy to do doing your own. And I thought, well, I mean, I don't even know they did this. Still fresh, but reduced price. There's hordes of bananas in there, perfect. Meaning them off the price or in cheaper. But some of the stuff's still good. So that's where I got my bananas from. Right, lemon tree. This one come. Let's have a look. This was from Garbuth plants. This was up from Scotland. I've got this one because it fruits ready for our show, and that's what I wanted for. And 18 quid with delivery. Brilliant. So there's the chap. Took him out of his protection bag. Took all the top mulch off, which is just bark basically. And upended him as well. So he will also be potted on next week. And I shall clean these up next week as well. Taking the dead leaves or any rubbish off them. But still nice dark green. That tells me I'm still going. So a bit of luck, I've got away with it. Frost-wise. Right, any meat we get, this is a couple of days after Christmas. He'll get fed up of eating sarnies and mutton squeak. So any meat left, I'll just make a curry. So we can all eat that. Right, this is Russian. Still training the hound. But it will become clear what's happening a bit later on. Right, my retaining wall. This is on the right hand side of the garden. I've got to sort this out once and for all. So I've started at the top, obviously. So working my way down because I don't want any soil going over there as it was here. Because I want to keep that, obviously the boards nice and dry. So I don't know nothing going over there. Because you can see there, the soil there is the same level as them bricks. So that's got to be built up the same height as these. And I'm going to get this done as quick as I can because in looking closely, everything has started coming through, green shoots. Don't forget, I'm treading on this lot when I get in there to do the wall. That's why I'm going to get it done as quickly as possible, weather permitting. And since we had all them that good frost, we've got away with it weather-wise. We've had some good days. I've had, say last week, I think I had near enough 2 days solid doing the wall fencing and that. Very excited. Well, obviously it's got to be dry. So I've got to dig all the gump out of the back there and the stuff, the rubbish what's in there to put my base in for my brickwork. So these two, this first one here and there's one a bit lower down, these were 2 climbers. And obviously I've got to drag him away because he's right up against that brickwork. I've got to persuade him to come this way. He's from off Keith Iron last year, might have been the year before. So I want to look after them. This is my rapid setting cement. So I've been getting from Screwfix, Boston stuff. There, just down there, I noticed another little chap. He was bone dry, past his sell-by date. I brought him back to life and bunged him in one of my raised beds. Good lad. Right, bricks. I paying 127. So looking at these, that's a normal bricks there, 127. These 72p. Cheaper. They got more cement in. Them are got holes in that era. These will do me. So a good dollar for them and all. In fact, I'll be looking for another dollar. Right, I've just took this photo because on these two, Jimmy Ray's bed, there's signs of growth, as you can see in the middle there. And this is after them good frost we've had. Also, the blueberries. These have got buds on them. So, signs are looking good. Let's get the spring here. Winter now, pain in the ass. Oh, I've got to clear this rubbish out. Obviously, it looks good when it's all in flower, especially the passion flower. That this year it has gone loop, but obviously the flowers when they open up are beautiful. It's just the rubbish. Well, I've got to get it off anyway because there's stuff in here that'll be flowering, and that's got to come out the road. Covered. That's opened up a bit now. You can see the back and everything. So I'm done up to there, and I'm just now working my way along here, taking all this rubbish out as well. Just to open it up, help it out. Exactly the same as there, air movement. If that was all enclosed, that you'll get grey mould and whatever in there. If you got air movement, it's better. Right, that was the original wall that was in, and that bit there just come down, as you can see there. So working my way down. So he's 3 bricks high, then 2 bricks high. So there's my first one when I pulled away from the wall so I can get at the back there. And this is my second one here, once I get down there. This is all the gum from taking out by the hand trail and the hand fork, so I can get my basing for my cement, my brickwork. So all this lot, I'm just taking the topsoil and keep that. I should have put this photo on for sure. So that's what I'm getting out. That's how this stuff has overtaken me brick wall. This stuff was over that brick. You see when I've scraped it off. So I'm going to get this lot out to get the footings in. And that bit there, of course, see very well, but there is a hole in the middle. That's a piece of a clay pipe. There's be loads of them round by us and on the allotment. Hole obviously down the bottom, because it was a stem of the clay pipe. And there, I've got a hole one still in the garage. Queen Victoria used to smoke the clay pipe. Like loads of women used to. All the chain makers, the women around the Black Country, and the clay pipe. Well, because the frost are away for a bit, there's more air movement in the tunnel because these are lifted. On these tubs, if it does rain, it's a good downpour with wind. They still ain't going to get wet because they're high enough to stop any rain getting on them. But air movement, these are going to get more air movement around these to dry them off than what I would have in the greenhouse. So that's what I've bunged them for a bit. And they're looking well there. This door, don't forget, is netted, and I've got netting all the way around the bottom. So all year round, I've got air movement in there. Right, over Christmas, giant veg competition. I can't remember seeing this one. Grommet, love him. Morrison Grommet. Brilliant, I'll have him done. Right, spiced banana. Bananas, cloves, ginger, sugar, demerara, citric acid, strong tea. You can tell this is an old recipe. Strong tea. So there's me going out to eat bananas, but they're still good. And all my other bits. There's my tea. Well, my tea bags. And that's them stewing. It's got to be strong. So I've left that for a couple of hours, stirring as I'm walking past. Ground ginger. Last time I got a chunk of ginger from, I think it was Tesco. But I thought about the ground and the cloves. Because obviously what got me weight bananas, topped and tailed, just in case there's anything on them. Nice and clean, got the weight of my sugar. Right, these lot, cloves and ginger, 1 ounce. I got scales go down to 1 ounce. So I thought, if I crush these lot, what is 1 ounce? Good thing about the internet now, you can convert things. Like 1 ounce of cloves. Or anything. And the ginger as well. It tells you how many teaspoons or whatever. So that's easy. In the banana, there's quite a few fruit and veg. You use the skin as well as the fruit and veg itself. And this is exactly the same, just slicing the bananas. Smaller slices, same as a compost. The more surface area you've got to the thing itself. So I threw a whole banana in there. You've just got one surface area. With these lot, hordes on them. Ginger, that worked out. Teaspoon. Crush my cloves, bung them in. And then your hot water, obviously, because you've got to dissolve the demerara sugar we've got in. So give it a good stir until that lot's gone. These two ain't put in yet. Tea's the last one to go in. Yeast from milk, I'll go give some more then. Normal again, there's quite a few of these you've got to leave for say a week, 10 days, some at 2 weeks, but stir in daily. This is just to get that yeast active, but also you're kick-starting everything else. When you stir it, then you're mixing everything together. Same as a bloody compost, I suppose, isn't it? Except the worms are mixing it in there for you. But daily thing. This one, I've got a new mate in Burma. Kior. I think I've pronounced it right, but he sent me some photos. That's his compost heap. And there's one of his raised beds. So, on the side of the world, if I'm a gardener, I'm a gardener here. So he's composting and he's got raised beds. Good lad. Got it. Right, the weather I've been having in the States. Obviously, I've got mates in the States and Canada. Canna mates. We've got cannas. I've got groups and that. racking their brains in this. But this is a photo. Look at this. That's how bad. It's called ice bombs or a bomb cyclone. The frost is completely sealed the houses, the buildings, meaning you can't get out, or if you was out, you can't get in, and you can't see out the windows either, because they've blocked everything up. Them a bit better off, because it's open and they're sheltered. But Gordon Bennett, we moaned about our weather here. We were supposed to get all that crap from the States. Luckily we got away with it. And that one there is Niagara Falls, frozen over. Weird. Right, this is my mate from Noblesville. That's a -9, you think. That ain't too bad. But with a wind factor, the wind chill is making it -37. And he got all his canners inside, luckily. But luckily we don't get too much of that. Thank God. Right, fruit trees, gotta go out. We've had no frost for a while, meaning the soil's warming up a bit to what it was. Obviously we've had rain, so that moisture going in a warm day, that warms it all up, warms the soil up for me. So I've got 2 out, well 3 for the blackberry at the back. We'll see where my labels are. That's where my fruit trees are going. So that label which was in there has been taken out. Before I took him out, I've just put 4 in, lined them up so I know where the centre is. And that's where the middle of my fruit trees are going. So first of all, I'll pick up all the top dressing off there and bung that in the bucket. Get my babby out. And the first one is a pear. This is Beth, which is one of the best pears you'll get. This is a quince, this one. So I'm going to fork this lot out. Obviously make my hole. And that's what I want to see, worms active. Manures, different manures going in. Goat, alpaca. That's my guinea pig. That could be rabbit muck, tizar. So these have been mixed in and then go in the hole. Right, I thought best way I can do this, just chip it on his side, pull this out this way, so everything that comes out, I can just drag that bag that road, then everything goes with it. Best way I can think of doing it. Luckily it's come out nice. Well, there's still a bit of muck in the mop where the roots ain't gone into it, but that'll do me. So I drag the back right on the hole and then just tip the lot up, holding him with one hand, as we can see there. Right, nice and upright, looking this road and that road. Obviously once I've firmed him in, or before I do firm him in for his last firm, I'll still have another check. Put him as upright and as level where he was before. Right, he's been done, levelled off. Now starting on my second one. Hole out, exactly the same again. One of my big pots. This was my Victoria plum. Okay, passport as normal. Right, muck underneath again. Doing exactly the same. I'm pulling this in out. So he was dragged over there, pulled in, and this lot was pulled out. So he's got enough under him, meaning he's level as well. And just go back on that one. When I put this round here, that's where I firm it in with my fingers pushing down on here. I don't want to firm that. I don't want to push down on that tree itself around the base of it. I just firm the soil around it because it's going to go down eventually over the year anyway. Quick nose, nice and upright. Get the next one. This is me in red sleeves, apple, M27 stock. Exactly the same again. Once I've took enough out, then I shall break the bottom up with a fork, so I've got more drainage, but it ain't compact to nothing anyway. So you don't take much. Don't forget this has never been trodden on. It's a raised bed. So my next one ready, exactly the same way. I'll take the top dressing off. That's going to be used again later on. I'll put my muck in the hole. Just drag him out. Bung him in. Perfect. Nice and straight. Next thing I'm going to do, give him a good wet. This is not cold water. I don't want to give him too much of a checking growth. Coffee, gunner. I was a gunner when I was in the mob. Just before they left, they changed it from gunner to Miss Armour. That'd be good. Well, coming up, telling your grandkids you're a Miss Armour. I got no grandkids. Can't do that yet. So good watering, because that will drop. Same as having a drop of rain. Like that one there, I've given him a good watering. Then I'll go on to the next one. I'll do that twice with all of them. Put the top dressing back on, which is a rabbit muck, i.e. my mulch. And then I'm going to put my wire, as you see, I've rolled it down, cut out so it goes around the tree. And this mesh is going, plastic mesh, is going all the way around. Keep the cats, foxes, whatever bloody things, squirrels, stopping bloody bearing his nuts. I just want this left so it goes to its own devices, which it will do eventually. Russian, me baby. Dendrobium. Right, that's the main man, Andy from Chester. Because I've got 3 old stems here, which if you look closely, you've still got them. You'll see where they flowered from last year. In fact, you'll see the new shoots on the new stems. So I just asked Andy, because these are now showing buds, do I take these old stems out? Are they finished? So now leave them on. We're still helping the plant out. So, good man. Right, back to Russian. Sniffing another dollop of seagull muck. So I've now taught her. It took me 5 days. Because when it sniffs it now, instead of licking it, it leaves a mark, it piddles on it. So I've taught her to piddle on it. How did I teach her to piddle on it?
Not by example, Mick.
Yes, thank you. I knew that was coming. I did take a photo, but I might get thrown off Facebook. But it works. I let her have a sniff, and then it piddles on it. And then the bottom part, when we go around there, leg it around there, another worm. Picked him up, bunged him on the side. Stirred him in wine. So now I'm getting, from them trees I took out, I'm getting empty pots, which is what I want for my cannas. When I start them off, they'll be going in these pots, so I can move these around the back garden. So I've got colour all over the place. We're slowly getting there. Right, these lot I've had watering. This is the last bit I've got to put down with this netting. So I've got to top dress them. You'll see that's where he was planted. So this is the day after. So all I'm doing there is firming round, pushing down with my fingers. So that is me firming the tree in. I'm not going to push him down that way. Perfect. Top dress him. Exactly the same with the other trees. And then net him. Run out of 10 pegs. I was running out, but I'm going to use a few. Finally, a parking spot for middle-aged men with beer bellies who love to grill, barbecue. That's American because they say grill, but a good sign that are. Somebody's got a sense of humour. Right, the last one. I've got one more in a tub there. There's another one there in a pot. This is getting all the gum from the side of that wall. I'm taking all the rubbish out. Also, I'm taking the worms out as well. And any rubbish, i.e. bulbs that are shooting, I don't want them. I just want the topsoil for the compost. Or fill it up. Any worms, I'm going to bung them in raised beds. Just take the cover back. Take a bit of straw off and bung him in. Bung the cover back on. Right, this is in the tunnel itself. The last one to go in, which was obviously the one here, he was parked here. This is my peach tree. I've got one in the greenhouse, overwintering. When the weather gets better and warm enough, he's in the pot, ready to go out in the back garden again. But this peach tree is going in the tunnel, top end, as you can see here. And it will be here permanent, like all the other fruit trees which I've planted in here. So this will give me another pot to go with me canna collection for next year. Once again, the pot's poured out of there on the bag, so I'll just drag the bag this road straight over the hole, as we can see there, and bung him in. Nice and upright, the level I want him. Like if that's the level which it is there, all I'm doing exactly the same again, pushing down with his fingers all around the outside, so I don't need to drop down anymore. Firm the planting as it is. Looks good. It's upright from here and from over to the side. All these lot are spaced out. There's one there, there's one there, and obviously this chap. I'll see him better later on. Right, when I put the muck in, I've got to take photos on the others. But when the muck went in, then there's a dollop of mica that went over, and the watering was with Epsom salt as well. Epsom salt's good for any fruit moving. I like it. So I'll give him. Let him soak in exactly the same as others. Then top dress him again. For the weather next week for us anyway, it's got to be crap. Rain and weather-wise. If I can get away with it, by not getting too wet, filling me watering can up, I've got to give this lot a good watering, this raised bed in the tunnel. Basically keep the activity, the soil working away. I don't want it to dry completely. If it dries out, it's ticking over. If it's moist, it's working, and that's what I want it working. I'm hopefully now we shouldn't get that many hard frosts like we have had. I mean, there's still a bit of protection here anyway, but I want to get this a good watering all the way around. The watering on these, the last bit. The last bit now is a strip of the green around the back there. There's some new tent pegs I got, but within tent pegs, because this was green, this was standing out too much. So I did a swap. The old tent pegs, what was in the other raised beds, I renewed with the new ones. And of course, see these so much now in the green. So I did a swap. Slowly get in there. Perfect. All done. All that bit anyway. That'll do me. Another job out the road. Eventually I'm going to mortar that wall that's coming out. Seal all the moles up. I might wallop that wall the same as what's on this timber, normally all the timber, the shed and everything else. But that's for later on. Still stirring my wine, boss. Oh, what was on at Christmas? Zulu. Love it. I don't think that would have been that clean though, as far as. Never mind. But Boston film. And my mates put this on the blog. Zulu War, the menu held Buck's Drift. Photo took, obviously, a couple of days after all. Whatever. They looked a bit different, didn't they? Obviously, the majority got beards, unless they have a bit of skin. And they got a roosh in there and all. Could be the mascot. Well, good on, lads. Something else I love, the Farewell Doc Martin film. This is the crew and the stars themselves all getting together for the film, was it? But loved it. Still stirring, boss, getting close. Right, catalogues have started coming out, and this one I've probably had this Monday. Thompson and Morgan. I'll now start going through them because new things are coming out every year. When I saw the flowers on this, I thought, ordinary. Because of the mix of colours and the flowers on these, like doubles or whatever, beautiful. If them were scented, I'd have had them. But I'm trying to get, obviously this is all from my raised bed, top of the garden. Trying to get all scented. Then we had a post. Jeffrey sent me this from Ostend. I think it was in the post 2 months. He was fretting a bit. He sent something from me and Ben. I gave him a bollock and told him off, and then thanked him. Don't do it again. But the almighty Compost King. 15 quid, near enough, just to post it. Jeffrey, still with a hound, still finding worms. I pick them up with a bit of straw or grass, rub them where they're supposed to be. Right, Saturday, Sunday morning, I have a fry up. So does Russian. There has egg and bacon there, chopped up as it when it's just over hot like. Loves a grub. Still slicing my bananas with rainwater, leaving overnight. Smart meters. Am I the only one in our street not from a smart meter? Never wanted one. I never want to look at it to see how much I'm using. I take me meter readings and send them off when they ask for them by email. They're happy enough. Now my mate down the road, or Lynn's mate, who used to work up at school with a Caslon, she retired a couple of months ago. And she had a smart meter. Somebody told her, got to get a smart meter. No, you haven't got to get one. But I've got a smart meter, lives on a Todd. She hasn't got a pension yet, old age pension, just school's pension. So they got much to live on. So I started looking at a smart meter. So I can't afford that. So I turned everything off. Because I had no bloody heat on. Why? Would have been bloody brainwashed into looking at a smart meter. There's got to be quite a few old ones doing exactly the same thing. Perhaps I'm wrong. I don't know. Right, green sulphur. These are now dry enough, I think, to bung me green sulphur on. I've had this a while. I used to get buy bulk for our trading sheds. I think that was discontinued a few years back. Then they bought yellow sulphur out. So, dry. Vitex, another Vitex one. Just give them a good dog. Look after them. These will have another couple of days in the tunnel before I move them out. Right, where one of my pots used to be, this is in the tunnel. So I've lifted the pot out, one of the fruit trees, and there's activity underneath. And that's what I want all over. That's a bag of rabbit muck next to it. Right, there's another pot there. What's in that one? Forget. But if this dries out underneath, then that's no good for me. That's what I wanted. If there's a worm there, then it's moist enough. Because if it weren't moist, that worm would clear off and go deeper. So that's a good sign for me, telling me. Get in there. Right, my last one to go out, which was that corn. I thought I could get away with it. Put another tree there. Because I never want to get up that corner. With him planted there, I can still get at this fruit tree. And the blackberries which are at the back. I mean, I can reach in to get the blackberries anyway. Well, I'll get to him as well. He can go back a bit further if need be. So I've got a nice big tub, nice and solid, not flimsy. So obviously that'll go in that. Look, see the size of the holes, that's the size of the pot it is. So I'm going to cover them holes with something substantial. Right, this fruit tree had the manure and then my compost on it. Manure made compost. So taking him out, he's nice and compact how he's supposed to be and full of worms. Perfect. So he is getting established. So I'll fill my holes up and I've got to bung me muck in. So I'm just putting that tub the side of it so I see what depth I've got. Right, how much muck I can get in. So obviously I want him the same level. Perfect. But you put your muck in and then put this pot in. If it's a bit lower, put some more muck in so it comes level. Just push down slightly on this, because whenever you put in, it's going to drop it down a bit anyway. But that's all I want. Good drop of muck on this Harris. Another pot down the bottom. Perfect. So I've got to top him with my compost. Look at that activity on there, beautiful. Put a bit more under his Harris, just to lift him slightly, as you can see there. Because once he's firmed in all around here, he will still drop down slightly himself and away to him. Upright that way, and so that was side on, and his front on. Yeah, he's nice and upright. Let's start filling with my brew. Because he's in a pot, worms have been taken out. But just throw these on top of here, in raised bed. You're still going to have worms in there, because there's worm eggs, and go get them all out, you still have some. Top dress for me rabbit muck. Before I water him, if I water him, it'll be too heavy. So I'll put him down there first, because he's in a pot. Next thing I'm going to do is level him up. That is level. Take my word for it. And he's level. You'll see the bubble there. That was off my uncle, that. He made that himself. Switched on kid he was. So nice and level. What I'll do now is water him. Once again, that is warm water with Epsom salt. Just to dilute the Epsom salt. Give a good weight to it. Once I've done the top dressing with him, then I'll water him. If you do it, the same with small pots as well. A small watering can, which is that one there, i.e. the smaller the spray, the better. It will not disturb the surface or anything. Like a pot itself, when you water that, it doesn't throw the soil away. Because these particles are small, they go in. But once that has been watered, i.e. moist, you can then water with something bigger, like that one. And that's him, out the road. Put my label in. Another job done. Baby wild boar thinks Labrador retriever is a dad. That's how we do it on. Well, I got a collar on him. Right, this is where me Cape gooseberries was. We survived. I'll put that environment mesh on in case we got a frost. But not expecting the frost we did. So I'll get my knife and get all the staples out. Take him off completely. Fold him up and give him the shed or garage. Cut all the crap off because the frost has got it anyway. This is still nice and strong. There's nothing there that's rotten, but he's got to come up anyway because I've got seed of a better brew. I've sent some to my mate who gave me that seed originally. I'm back to my wall, still legging it down. Got me old bricks and my last old ones, which are from the original walls that like these getting up. So these lot get used first. And in between putting bricks down, got a bit of mortar left in here, or cement. And then fill these holes at the top. We raised bed. Right, Mrs. went out with the main shopping. Russian is normally out with me, but if it's too cold, he just sits by the door and I bring a bed by the door. As long as he can see me, it's alright. As warmer in there. They can watch me working. I've got my other tub ready. Old ice cream tub, that from years ago. Oh, ideal for mixing with cement there. Went and got 2 more tubs of this from Screwfix. That was the last 2 tubs. So I've got to look into that. Foreman got me this and all from being curious. This is what went on this side originally and is going on the fence this side and on here when he dries out. It will be a while before this one's dried out enough. But the lot will be the same. So that bit of wall at the top there is dried off, as you can see. Working my way down nicely. So I started walloping the fence. I thought about the wall as well. Can I get away with it? Will the rain wash it off? Will it stick? Don't know. Try it out. Slowly working our way down. As you can see, it's dark in the background there. And the night lights have come on. So that's when I had to stop. So I couldn't see. I had forecast rain during the night, so I've done a bit of brickwork there, so I've just covered that just to protect it for a bit. Parker's another catalogue come through, and a quick nose through this one as well. It's surprising how many catalogues are now putting cannas in. And here, they got some corkers here. This is what I love about the cannas. I love them with a variegated leaf like that. If you've got the sun behind, you can see straight through them. And the colours in the leaf alone, meaning the flower, is a bonus. And there's another variegated one, different colour altogether, and that's a darker leaf. But got some good ones there. Tropicana, we know is a good one anyway. But that ain't bad at all. 14 quid. Small print, which we'll come on to in a bit. Also, sweet potato. They got plants there. They are plugs, which is what you want. Or people growing them as well. And some of these little chaps in as well. Aquilegia, it's a nice little chap. So I'll go through the catalogues now because I'm getting into the flowers more. Small print, fibre, delivery charge. And all the same area. With stamps going up against soon. Yeah, this was took yesterday. First little chap is nearly in flower. So the rest about to open up there. And we'll be buying next week. And that was just before tea tonight. The first one opened up. So I took the photo of the chap, bummed it on for you. Right, I was down our trading shed yesterday. Me and Mark. First day the shed is open. We'll see the schedules ready. We'll be ready for people who come to the training shed. Dave, I'll send you a couple in the post, mate. Ready for your judging later on. And also the training shed price list is down the sheds as well. Obviously, prices have changed when we get new stock in, as with everything else. On the back of the shed price list, we have events for the year. So our first talk, 2nd of Feb, which is the AGM, they don't take long. And this year, to help our lot goes our croissant grower. We used to have a good bloke, he's been exhibition croissant growing for bloody years. Nobody would show against him. Which is bad in the sense for our members. Good in the sense, the stuff he put in, they sold well on the night. He left all his stuff in. But when he kicked the bucket, very, very few people showed croissants. So I thought, if we get a speaker, he's from the Croissant Society, National Croissant Society, so he's a proper traveller. So I've got him to give us a talk on, he knows our show day, to try and get our lot. And he's got his own website, the Croissant Plug, whatever. Just to give us an insight into growing croissant, trying to get our lot again in. I've done exactly the same for sweet peas. Got a sweet pea exhibitor that grower there, and I've got them for the first 2 months, Feb, March, meaning you've got time from both them talks to do something to start growing these two, hopefully anyway. Because you've got a few more classes in for sweet peas this year, and they're doing exactly the same, telling us how to grow them ready for our show, so that should be good. Then in April, Adventures of a Seed Detective. It's harder now to get speakers, getting less every year and more expensive, obviously. May, Bring and Buy. We used to have the Bring and Buy in June, but it was getting too late, and we weren't getting the stuff in which we had originally, so we brought that forward to May. So in June we got Summer Splendor. Justin Harrison, we had him last year, early on in the year. I think we had him about March. Was it later on? I can't remember. Right, yeah. But he is good, so I've jobbed him again. Obviously, Summer Splendor. Danny Wells, English and Gardening. And then I'm doing a growing veg for show and preparing veg for show, just to help our lot out, new ones, just to show them how to grow it and then exhibit it. Most of them can grow it, but preparing veg for show is what they need, I think. And obviously the shows start September. September, Mike Collins, I've talked him into giving us a talk. He's never given us one. He's a lecturer. I said, it's about time we put us a talk together. He couldn't really say no. So he's given us a typical allotment here. Darren Rudge, I didn't know, part 3. Price tarts and tea bags. He'll give us some good tips. He's a good speaker. He gets everybody involved. And then a presentation night from the show. I've got Paul Rushworth. But it's a talk the committee into getting him. He's cost quite a bit because he's a magician, singer and a comedian. So that's what we want. Bit of entertainment. And shed times, them have changed. Well, yesterday was only 1 to 2 because we don't get many people down. We've only had 3 down. But them rotted out. Shed price list and the schedule. Dave, Chesterfield, 3-2 up from West Brom last night. I think it 3 each and ended up with some good results for the FA Cup. Right, Gardening Club I ain't been to yet, but I'm going to because I had a cancellation. And I said I'd do it for them, so I've advertised this. Talk compost ready to use within a month. Will be open to all who can make it. Staffordshire and Worcestershire Cottage Garden Club are holding the event on Saturday, 21st of Jan. This is afternoon talk, another club that does afternoon talks. Saturday, most people can do it, don't forget the majority at all. Doors open at 2 for a 2:30 start. Entrance fee for non-members, £3. Venue, Wall Village Hall, Watling Street, Wall, near Lichfield. Come and live in my trial and errors over the years. It would be good to meet up. Any club interested in talk, just give yourself an advertisement there. So anybody's interested, free, come and say I do. Right, this I had an email just before tea o'clock, just before tea tonight. I thought this would do for Andy. I didn't know whether you ever heard of them before, but this is a place up in Scotland where I had me a lemon tree from. And they got loads of stuff on here, which I thought, Andy likes stuff like this. So, just make a note. You you've heard of them anyway.
Cheers, Mick.
Got some Boston stuff in. And that's it, people. There will be a Zoom next week, normal time. Rollies, give me a few photos in. If anybody's got any you can send me just to fill me up. I mean, I think there was 380 photos on tonight. That's only lasted an hour and a half. So I do need a few photos if anybody's doing anything. But I hope you've enjoyed it tonight, learned something. Nice to see you all. Any questions on anything tonight? Jerry, good to see you. Your mic on, Jerry.
Yeah, and good to see you, Mick. Good to see you, Mick. Sorry, I was muted. Good to see you, Mick. Very interesting tonight. Yeah.
You haven't done some drinking over the Christmas period, Jerry?
I a lot of drinking, yeah. There's 30 degrees sun every day. Mate. Absolutely. Come back this weather. It's horrible. I've got another 25 apple trees to plant over the next couple of weeks, and the conditions really aren't too good. But there we go. Yeah, thank you, Mick.
That's our weather, potluck.
Well, we need the rain here. We're such a shortage of water here. Aquifers are low down, and the trees are desperate.
Gordon Bennett.
I must have lost 7 or 8 apple trees last year because of the drought, and they're old trees.
There's quite a few people having floods, isn't there?
Yeah, that's the ground so hard it's not penetrating, is it?
Yeah.
Well, lovely to see you, mate. I'm going to have some dinner now, something to eat.
Cheers, Jerry.
I think take care, everybody. Lovely to see you all.
Yeah, mate.
Back into the groove.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you, mate.
See you later.
Bye.
Make Sunday nights worthwhile again, Mick. Thank you for everything you do for us.
No problem.
Yeah.
You do an awful lot for us, Mick. So
Here.
thank you very much.
Enjoy
Yes,
putting
yeah.
together. As long as I get away with the missus. So far, so good.
Take care, everybody. See you soon.
Keep the peace.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
See you, people.
See
See
ya.
you next week if you can do it.
See you next week.